There comes a moment in the life of every avoidantly attached person when the silence they once craved becomes the very thing that echoes back and haunts them. It doesn't happen during the conflict. It doesn't happen during the withdrawal or the pushing away. It happens after. After you, the one who kept reaching, finally stopped. The avoidant who once convinced themselves they didn't need closeness starts to feel something unfamiliar. Absence. At first they call it relief, freedom, space. But then the days pass, and that silence they created becomes unbearable. This is when the avoidant starts to realize they might have let the right person slip away. You see, avoidance doesn't recognize love in the moment. They're too focused on protecting themselves from what they believe is danger, dependence, vulnerability, intimacy. When someone gets too close, they misinterpret it as a threat to their independence. So they pull back, they stonewall. They say, "I'm just busy." They stop replying for days. They test your patience. And all the while they believe they're protecting their peace. But love doesn't always come crashing in like a tidal wave. Sometimes it arrives gently, softly, with loyalty, with care, with quiet understanding, and they don't know what to do with that. Because unfamiliar feels By the time they're ready to receive that kind of love, the person who gave it has already walked away. The real shift doesn't come with an argument. It comes in the stillness that follows. One morning they wake up and check their phone. No new messages. No good morning from you. No, did you eat today? No care packages. No warm voice saying, "I'm here." That voice now belongs to someone else, or worse, to no one. And for someone who feared being too close, the realization that no one is trying anymore cuts deeper than they ever expected. They go through phases, like grief. First, it's denial. It wasn't that serious anyway. They were too needy. They'll come back, but the excuses fall apart, because now they start to miss your consistency. The way you checked in, the way you noticed when something was off even when they never said a word. Then comes anger, not at you, at themselves. Anger that they couldn't let you in when you were right, standing in front of them with open arms. Anger that they believed distance would make them feel safe, when all it did was make them feel alone. Because what most people don't know is this: avoidants do love. Often they love deeply, but it's a guarded love, buried beneath years of defense and fear. And it's only when the person who tried to understand them finally gives up that they're forced to face the truth. Their fear cost them something real. That's when the memory, the night you stayed on the phone even when they said nothing, the way you forgave their hot and cold behavior, the way your eyes said, "I see you," even when you try to disappear. And that memory, it haunts them, because they know you were the exception. You were the one who made love feel safe, and they pushed you away. Avoidants are often drawn to people who offer emotional safety. Ironically, it's the very thing they reject, because safety requires trust, and trust requires letting go. So they sabotage, they test you, they retreat. They pretend they don't care, but deep down they're watching. They notice how you show up, and when you finally stop trying, they start remembering. That's when the regret begins. Regret is quiet. It doesn't scream, it whispers. Late at night, in the moments when everything else is still, they wonder, what if I had replied? What if I had just let myself be seen? What if I hadn't pushed them? They won't admit it out loud. They may still act cold or distant, but inside there's chaos. That emotional wall they built to protect themselves, now it's a prison. And your absence is the ghost that walks with them. Eventually they might try to reconnect. A casual message. "Hey, how have you been?" They'll pretend it's no big deal. But it is. That message took hours of hesitation, days of fighting with themselves. But maybe by then, you've moved on. And if you don't respond, or if you do, but with a different heart, they'll feel the finality in a way they never expected. Because deep down, they knew you were the one who saw them, who stayed, who loved them through the fear, and they let you slip away. That moment changes them, not instantly, but it plants a seed that may grow into reflection therapy, even healing. But sometimes that growth comes too late for you, because you learned the hard way. Love cannot survive one-sided effort. No matter how much empathy or patience you give, if someone refuses to meet you halfway, the connection will erode. And the avoidant, who thought they were protecting themselves, ends up carrying the deepest scar. The moment they realize they lost the right person isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It's painfully quiet. It's the silence after your no more messages. No more did you get home safe. No one noticing the sadness in their voice. No one waiting behind their stone wall. That love, that steady, patient, loyal love is gone. And now, for the first time, they understand what they had, but the one who gave it has moved on. So if you've ever been on the receiving end of an avoidant silence, please remember, your love didn't go unnoticed. It was felt, it was valued, even if it was never but you were not meant to stay and prove your worth again and again. Sometimes, walking away is the loudest act of self-love. And sometimes, your absence is the only thing that wakes someone up to what they've lost. The avoidant will remember you, not just because you were different, but because you offered something rare. Safe love. You didn't chase them. You held space. You didn't force them to open up. You created room for it. And even if fear won in the end, even if they couldn't receive it, you were a mirror they weren't ready to face. And in that mirror, they saw both their longing and their limitations. This is when they know, not during the drama, not during the distance, but in the silence. After yours, this is when the avoidant realizes they let the right person slip away. And now, there's no one left to blame but themselves.